Hello and welcome to Story Time with Dottie. It is November. No, it's December. Yeah, I just looked at the date. It's December 8th, 2021. So, what is happening in the world out there? I normally play a song to start my show, and I didn't tonight, and so now I guess I'm just not prepared. Let's see if anybody hops in chat. Maybe not, but you know the deal. We're continuing with the Chronicles of Narnia. We're on the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and we're on chapter 13 and 14 tonight. So we only have 2 weeks of Kirk. You're here. Oh my gosh, I've been asking about you for weeks now. Where have you been? You have not been in chat. You haven't been in streams. So, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're here. Because everybody was like, where is he? He loves the pictures and he loves story time. And where's he at? So I'm glad that you're here. So yeah, what's been happening? Because I've literally been asking for weeks now. Like, why are you not here in story time? You know this is the place to be on Wednesday nights at 8. And you were not here. Went dark for a bit. Understand that. Get that. Sometimes you need just to refresh, recharge, just be away from technology and yeah, just deal with your shit. So I get that. Get that for sure. But I'm glad you're back. So super glad you're back. Because we only have tonight and then next week, and that'll be the end of our 5th book. The end of our 5th book. So it's coming up real fast. I'm quite surprised that I have read nearly 5 full books on live stream. That's something very interesting. Never really thought that I would do that, but kind of cool. Kind of neato. Neato. So maybe I'll send this out to some people, see if I can get anyone to come listen. I don't even know. I did check in. I just wasn't in chat. Sorry. Oh, well, that's okay. As long as you're all good, as long as you're back now, as long as somebody knew that you were alive, but yeah, I'm glad that you're back. So I'm like really out of it right now. I spent all day in jury duty to not get selected, and it was quite terrible. It was very cold in the building, like not okay cold. And I mean, to you people who get like really cold winters and weather, you're probably like, oh, silly little Washington girl, like I'm sure it was so cold. To me, it was really cold. I'm a frost tender flower. I'm definitely solar powered. Don't do well in the extreme cold. And 40 is extreme cold to me. But yeah, it was a very long day. It took forever. And it felt like I don't really want to talk about it. Yeah. Because I didn't get selected for that jury. It was a pretty bad one. Like, it was a pretty bad one. And yeah, I'm glad that I didn't get selected. Can you see the sweater? Oh yeah, it's got bears on it and a heart. And then like, I don't know, attempted hearts there. Yeah, this is my bear sweater. So it's funny, I have had this sweater for years, and thank you, it was in a drawer, and I was going to a bear meetup last weekend, and I wanted to wear a sweater, and so I dug this one out and I put it on, and I was like, I don't know that I ever realized that it had bears on it. I I don't know that that ever registered in my head. Maybe I forgot that that's what they were because I haven't worn it in a while, but it's just very perfect that I was going to a Bears meetup and I pull out the one and only sweatshirt that I have that had a bear on it. So perfect, perfect. But let me. Well, I was gonna send this stream out to people, and then I just didn't. So yeah, I'm just really out of it. Like it was a very long day in a very long day for jury duty. And so yeah, literally the entire day. And then I didn't get selected. And so yeah, I'm just like very tired and out of it. But yes, hello to Kirk and AAA Industry 640015. And Scar, please. Scarpless? Scarapolis? Something. I'm sorry. I'm probably butchering your name. You're like, it's not that hard. But anyway. I don't know. Are you all ready for story time? Are you ready? I feel like I should just do it because I'm just like getting more tired. So I'm going to get more loopy and weird, which is always so fun. So I think we should just get into it. The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Chapter 13. Yay, Kirk. Yes. I know, it has been weeks since you've been in story time. Don't think that I didn't notice. Because I did, my friend. Yeah. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube, my DLive, and my Twitch. Those are all in the description there. So subscribe to those, please. And I think we're gonna do this. FEPE the Penguin, what's up? The Chronic of Narnia. that would be a really good lead, actually, to the Chronic of Narnia. Oh yeah, that's a good idea right there. That's a winner. That's a winner. Chronic of Narnia. I'd smoke the shit out of that. Smoked like the rest of my blunt when I got home today, and it was great. It's really great. All I wanted to do, today was my day off, just wanted to wake up without an alarm and then smoke my blunt. And instead I had to wake up to an alarm. Well, I woke up even before it, actually, and then I didn't smoke my blunt, and then I spent all day in jury duty, didn't get selected. So it was not, the blunt was really good when I got home. So anyway, we're on chapter 13. The Three Sleepers. It's going to be all of you in just a minute. Put you to sleep with your bedtime story. The wind never failed, but it grew gentler every day, till at length the waves were little more than ripples, and the ship glided on hour after hour, almost as if they were sailing on a lake. And every night they saw that there rose in the east new constellations which no one had ever seen in Narnia, and perhaps, as Lucy thought with a mixture of joy and fear, no living eye had seen at all. Those new stars were big and bright, and the nights were warm. Most of them slept on deck and talked far into the night, or hung over the ship's side, watching the luminous dance of the foam thrown up by their bows. On an evening of startling beauty, when the sunset behind them was so crimson and purple and widely spread that the very sky itself seemed to have grown larger, they came in sight of land on their starboard bow. It came slowly nearer, and the light behind them made it look as if the capes and headlands of this new country were all on fire. But presently they were sailing along its coast, and its western cape now rose up astern of them, black against the red sky and sharp as if it was cut out of cardboard, and then they could see better what this country was like. It had no mountains, but many gentle hills with slopes like pillows. An attractive smell came from it, what Lucy called a dim purple kind of smell, which Edmund said and Rince thought was rot, but Caspian said, I know what you mean. It smelled like purple, obviously. It's clear as day. They sailed on a good way, past point after point, hoping to find a nice deep harbor, but had to content themselves in the end with a wide and shallow bay. Though it had seemed calm out at sea, there was of course surf breaking on the sand, and they could not bring the Dawn Treader as far in as they would have liked. They dropped anchor a good way from the beach, and had a wet and tumbling landing in the boat. The Lord Roop remained on board the Dawn Treader. He wished to see no more islands. All the time that they remained in this country, the sound of the long breakers was in their ears. 2 men were left to guard the boat, and Caspian led the others inland, but not far because it was too late for exploring and their light would soon go. But there was no need to go far to find an adventure. The level valley which lay at the head of the bay showed no road or track or other sign of habitation. Underfoot was fine springy turf, dotted here and there with a low, bushy growth, which Edmund and Lucy took for heather. Eustace, who was really rather good at botany, said it wasn't. And he was probably right, but it was something of very much the same kind. When they had gone less than a bow shot from the shore, Drinian said, Look, what's that? And everyone stopped. Are they great trees? Said Caspian. Towers, I think, said Eustace. It might be giants, said Edmund in a lower voice. The way to find out is to go right in among them, said Reepicheep, drawing his sword and pattering off ahead of everyone else. I think it's a ruin, said Lucy, when they had got a good deal nearer, and her guess was the best so far. What they now saw was a wide oblong space, flagged with smooth stones and surrounded by gray pillars, but unroofed, and from end to end of it ran a long table laid with a rich crimson cloth that came down nearly to the pavement. At either side of it were many chairs of stone, richly carved, and with silken cushions upon the seats. But on the table itself there was set out such a banquet as had never been seen, not even when Peter the High King kept his court at Cairparavel. There were turkeys and geese and peacocks. There were boars' heads and sides of venison. There were pies shaped like ships under full sail or like dragons and elephants. There were ice puddings and bright lobsters and gleaming salmon. There were nuts and grapes, pineapples and peaches, pomegranates, melons and tomatoes. There were flagons of gold and silver and curiously wrought glass, and the smell of the fruit and the wine blew toward them like a promise of all happiness. I say, said Lucy. They came nearer and nearer, all very quietly. But where are the guests? Asked Eustace. We can provide that, sir, said Rince. Look, said Edmund sharply. They were actually within the pillars now and standing on the pavement. Everyone looked where Edmund had pointed. The chairs were not all empty. At the head of the table and in the 2 places beside it there was something, or possibly 3 somethings. What are those? Asked Lucy in a whisper. It looks like 3 beavers sitting on the table. Or a huge bird's nest, said Edmund. It looks more like a haystack to me, said Caspian. Kirk Wilson, you're here. Oh, you're on Twitch as well. Okay, I was like, how did you do that? That's funny. Reepicheep ran forward, jumped on a chair, and thence onto the table, and ran along it, threading his way as nimbly as a dancer between jeweled cups and pyramids of fruit and ivory salt cellars. He ran right up to the mysterious gray mass at the end, peered, touched, and then called out, "These will not fight, I think." Everyone now came close and saw that what sat in those three chairs was three men, though hard to recognize as men till you looked closely. Their hair, which was gray, had grown over their eyes till it almost concealed their faces, and their beards had grown over the table, climbing round and entwining plates and goblets as brambles entwine a fence, until all mixed in one great mat of hair. They flowed over the edge and down to the floor, and from their heads the hair hung over the backs of their chairs so that they were wholly hidden. In fact, the three men were nearly all hair. "Dead?" said Caspian. "I think not, sire," said Reepicheep, lifting one of their hands out of its tangle of hair in his two paws. "This one is warm and his pulse beats." I don't think that's the meaning of omnipotent, but you just go for it, Kirk. You're everywhere. You do what you want. "It must be an enchanted sleep," said Lucy. "I felt the moment we landed on this island that it was full of magic." "Oh, do you think we have perhaps come here to break it?" "We can try," said Caspian, and began shaking the nearest of the three sleepers. For a moment everyone thought he was going to be successful, for the man breathed hard and muttered, "I'll go eastward no more. No out oars for Narnia." But he sank back almost at once into a yet deeper sleep than before. That is, his heavy head sagged a few inches lower toward the table, and all efforts to rouse him again were useless. With the second it was much the same. "Weren't born to live like animals. Get to the east while you've a chance. Lands behind the sun," and sank down, and the third only said, "Mustard, please," and slept hard. "Out oars for Narnia, said Drinian. "Yes," said Caspian. "You're right, Drinian. I think our quest is at an end. Let's look at their rings. Yes, these are their devices. This is the Lord Revilian, this is the Lord Argos, and this is the Lord Mavermorn." "But we can't wake them," said Lucy. "What are we to do?" "Begging your majesty's pardons all," said Rince, "but why not fall to while you're discussing it? We don't see a dinner like this every day." "Not for your life," said Caspian. That's more like it, Kirk. That's right," said several of the sailors. "Too much magic about here. The sooner we're back on board, the better." Oh, where did it go? "Depend upon it," said Reepicheep, "it was from eating this food that these three lords came by a 7 years' sleep." "I wouldn't touch it to save my life," said Drinian. "The light's going uncommon quick," said Rhynelf. Back to ship," muttered the men. "Barbara!" "I really think," said Edmund, "they're right. We can decide what to do with the three sleepers tomorrow. We daren't eat the food, and there's no point in staying here for the night. The whole place smells of magic and danger." "I am entirely of King Edmund's opinion," said Reepicheep, "as far as concerns the ship's company in general, but I myself will sit at this table till sunrise." "Why on earth?" said Eustace. "Because," said the mouse, "this is a very great adventure, and no danger seems to me so great as that of knowing when I get back to Narnia that I left a mystery behind me through fear." "I'll stay with you, Reep," said Edmund. "And I too," said Caspian. "And me," said Lucy. And then Eustace volunteered also. This was very brave of him, because, never having read of such things or even heard of them till he joined the Dawn Treader, made it worse for him than for others. "Carrie Skates, what's happening?" "I beseech your majesty," began Drinian. "No, my lord," said Caspian, "your place is with the ship, and you have had a day's work while we five have idled." There was a lot of argument about this, but in the end Caspian had his way. As the crew marched off to the shore in the gathering dusk, none of the five watchers, except perhaps Reepicheep, could avoid a cold feeling in the stomach. They took some time choosing their seats at the perilous table. Probably everyone had the same reason, but no one said it out loud, for it was really a rather nasty choice. One could hardly bear to sit all night next to those three terrible hairy objects, which, if not dead, were certainly not alive in the ordinary sense. On the other hand, to sit at the far end so that you would see them less and less as the night grew darker and wouldn't know if they were moving, and perhaps wouldn't see them at all by about 2 o'clock, no, it was not to be thought of. So they sauntered round and round the table, saying, "What about here?" and or perhaps a bit farther on, or "Why not on this side?" till at last they settled down somewhere about the middle, but nearer to the sleepers than to the other end. It was about 10 by now and almost dark. Those strange new constellations burned in the east. Lucy would have liked it better if they had been the leopard in the ship and the other old friends of the Narnian sky. They wrapped themselves in their sea cloaks and sat still and waited. At first there was some attempt at talk, but it didn't come to much, and they sat, and all the time they heard the waves breaking on the beach. After hours that seemed like ages, there came a moment when they all knew that they had been dozing. A moment before, but were all suddenly wide awake. The stars were all in quite different positions from those they had last noticed. The sky was very black except for the faintest possible grayness in the east. They were cold, though thirsty and stiff, and none of them spoke because now, at last, something was happening. Before them, beyond the pillars, there was the slope of a low hill, and now a door opened in the hillside and light appeared in the doorway, and a figure came out, and the door shut behind it. The figure carried a light, and this light was really all that they could see distinctly. It came slowly nearer and nearer till at last it stood right at the table opposite them. Now they could see that it was a tall girl, dressed in a single long garment of clear blue which left her arms bare. She was bareheaded, and she was She was bareheaded and her yellow hair hung down her back. And when they looked at her, they thought they had never before known what beauty meant. The high The light which she had been carrying was a tall candle in a silver candlestick, which she now set upon the table. If there had been any wind off the sea earlier in the night, it must have died down by now, for the flame of the candle burned as straight and still as if it were in a room with the windows shut and the curtains drawn. Gold and silver on the table shone in its light. Lucy now noticed something lying lengthwise on the table which had escaped her attention before. It was a knife of stone, sharp as steel, thing. A ancient looking thing. No one had yet spoken a word. Then Reepicheep first, Caspian next. They all rose to their feet because they felt that she was a great lady. I wonder who she is. Oh. "Travelers who have come from far to Aslan's table," said the girl. "Why do you not eat and drink?" "Madam," said Caspian, "we feared the food because we thought it had cast our friends into an enchanted sleep." "They have never tasted it," she said. "Please," said Lucy, "what happened to them?" "7 years ago," said the girl, "they came here in a ship whose sails were rags and her timbers ready to fall apart. There there were a few others with them, sailors, and when they came to this table, one said, 'Here is the good place. Let us set sail and reef sail and row no longer, but sit down and end our days in peace.' And the second said, "No, let us re-embark and sail for Narnia and the West. It may be that Miraz is dead." But the third, who was a very masterful man, leaped up and said, "No, by heaven! We are men and Telmarines, not brutes. What should we do but seek adventure after adventure? We have not long to live in any event. Let us spend what is left in seeking the unpeopled world behind the sunrise." And as they quarreled, he caught up the knife of stone which lies there on the table, and would have fought with his comrades, but it is a thing not right for him to touch. And as his fingers closed upon the hilt, deep sleep fell upon all the three, and till the enchantment is undone, they will never wake. "This knife of stone?" asked Eustace. "Do none of you know of it?" said the girl. "I think," said Lucy, "I've seen something like it before. A knife like it that the White Witch used when she killed Aslan at the stone table long ago." "It was the same," said the girl, "and it was brought here to be kept in honor while the world lasts." Edmund, who had been looking more and more uncomfortable for the last few minutes, now spoke. "Look here," he said, "I hope I'm not a coward about eating this food. And I'm sure I don't mean to be rude, but we have had a lot of queer adventures on this voyage of ours, and things aren't always what they seem. When I look in your face, I can't help believing all you say, but then there's just what might happen with a witch, too. But then that's just what might happen with a witch, too. How can we know you're a friend?" "You can't know," said the girl. "You can only believe. Or not." After a moment's pause, Reep-Cheep's small voice was heard. "Sire," he said to Caspian, "of your courtesy, fill my cup with wine from that flagon. It is too big for me to lift. I will drink to the lady." Caspian obeyed, and the mouse, standing on the table, held up a golden cup between his tiny paws, and said, "Lady, I pledge you." Then it fell to one cold peacock, and in a short, while everyone else followed his example, all were very hungry, and the meal, if not quite what you had wanted for early breakfast, was excellent as a very late supper. "Why is it called Aslan's table?" asked Lucy presently. "It is set here by his bidding," said the girl, "for those who come so far. Some call this island the world's end, for though you can sail further, this is the beginning of the end." Be interesting to go there. The beginning of the end of the world. Wonder what you find there. "But how does the food keep?" asked the practical Eustace. "It is eaten and renewed every day," said. "This you will see." "And what are we to do about the sleepers?" asked Caspian. "In the world from which my friends come," here he nodded at Eustace and the Pevensies, "they have a story of a prince or a king coming to a castle where all the people lay in an enchanted sleep. In that story, he could not dissolve the enchantment until he had kissed the princess." "But here," said the girl, "it is different. Here he cannot kiss the princess till he has dissolved the enchantment." "Then," said Caspian, "in the name of Aslan, show me how to set about that work at once." "My father will teach you that," said the girl. "Your father?" said everyone. "Who is he, and where?" "Look," said the girl, turning round and pointing at the door in the hillside. They could see it more easily now, for while they had been talking, the stars had grown fainter, and great gaps of white light were appearing in the grayness of the eastern sky. Chapter 14: The Beginning of the End of the World. Slowly the door opened again, and out there came a figure as tall and straight as the girls, but not so slender. It carried no light, but light seemed to come from it. As it came nearer, Lucy saw that it was like an old man. His silver beard came down to his bare feet in front, and his silver hair hung down to his heels behind, and his robe appeared to be made from the fleece of silver sheep. He looked so mild and grave that once more all the travelers rose to their feet and stood in silence. But the old man came on without speaking to the travelers and stood on the other side of the table opposite to his daughter. Then both of them held up their arms before them and turned to face the east. In that position, they began to sing. I wish I could write down the song, but no one who was present could remember it. Lucy said afterward that it was high, almost shrill, but very beautiful. A cold kind of song, an early morning kind of song. And as they sang, the gray clouds lifted from the eastern sky, and the white patches grew bigger and bigger till it was all white, and the sea began to shine like silver. And long afterward, but those two sang all the time, the east began to turn red and at last unclouded. The sun came up out of the sea, and its long level ray shot down the length of the table on the gold and silver and on the stone knife. I always attempt to get the hiccups when I'm doing a stream, and it's rather frustrating. Once or twice before, the Narnians had wondered whether the sun at its rising did not look bigger in these seas than it had looked at home. This time they were certain. There was no mistaking it, and the brightness of its ray on the dew and on the table was far beyond any morning brightness they had ever seen. And as Edmund said afterward, though lots of things happened on that trip which sound more exciting, that moment was really the most exciting. The moment, for now they knew that they were truly coming to the beginning of the end of the world. An enchanted sleep will be balm. Yeah, exactly. It's a date idea. Come over, take some melatonin, just crash out for 10 hours. Sounds awesome. I mean, guys try and say oh, I don't know what to take her to do, or I don't know what kind of date she wants. That's what we want. We want a nap date. I don't get why it's so difficult. Just get some blankets, get some comfy PJs, and then turn on a movie that you're not going to watch, and then pop melatonin and take a bomb nap. Be best date ever. We'll tell everyone about that. I had the best date. It was amazing. Yeah, what'd you do? We took a nap. Everyone would be jealous. You would be a legend for doing a date like that. We'll talk about you for years. Then something seemed to be flying at them out of the very center of the rising sun. But of course, one couldn't look steadily in that direction to make sure. But presently the air became full of voices, voices which took up the same song that the lady and her father were singing, but in far wilder tones and in a language which no one knew. And soon after that, the owners of these voices could be seen. They were birds, large and white, and they came by hundreds and thousands and alighted on everything, on the grass and on the pavement, on the table, on your shoulders, your hands, and your head, till it looked as if heavy snow had fallen. For, like snow, they not only made everything white, but blurred and blunted all shapes. But Lucy, looking out from between the wings of the birds that covered her, saw one bird fly to the old man with something in its beak that looked like a little fruit, unless it was a little live coal, which it might have been, for it was too bright to look at, and the bird laid it in the old man's mouth. Sufanelli, what's up? Team leader in the house. Then the birds stopped their singing and appeared to be very busy about the table. When they rose from it again, everything on the table that could be eaten or drunk had disappeared. These birds rose from their meal in their thousands and hundreds and carried away all the things that could not be eaten or drunk, such as bones, rinds, and shells, and took their flight back to the rising sun. But now, because they were not singing, the whir of their wings seemed to set the whole air a tremble, and there was the table packed clean and empty, and the three old lords of Narnia still fast asleep. Now at last the old man turned to the travelers and bade them welcome. Sir, said Caspian, will you tell us how to undo the enchantment which holds these three Narnian lords asleep? I will gladly tell you that, my son, said the old man. To break this enchantment, you must sail to the world's end, or as near as you can come to it, and you must come back, having left at least one of your company behind. And what must happen to that one? Asked Reepicheep. He must go on into the utter east, and never return into the world. That is my heart's desire, said Reepicheep. And are we near the world's end now, sir? Asked Caspian. Have you any knowledge of the seas and lands further east than this? I saw them long ago, said the old man, but it was from a great height. I cannot tell you such things as sailors need to know. Do you mean you were flying in the air? Eustace blurted out. I was a long way above the air, my son, replied the old man. I am Ramandu, but I see that you stare at one another and have not heard this name. And no wonder, for the days when I was a star had ceased long before any of you knew this world, and all the constellations have changed. Golly, said Edmund under his breath, he's a retired star. Aren't you a star any longer? Asked Lucy. I am a star at rest, my daughter, answered Ramandu. When I set for the last time, decrepit and old beyond all that you can reckon, I was carried to this island. I am not so old now as I was then. Every morning a bird brings me a fireberry from the valleys in the sun, and each fireberry takes away a little of my age. And when I have become as young as the child that was born yesterday, then I shall take my rising again. For we are at earth's eastern rim, and once more tread the great dance. In our world, said Eustace, a star is a huge ball of flaming gas. Even in your world, my son, that is not what a star is, but only what it is made of. And in this world, you have already met a star, for I think you have been with Kuraikin. Is he a retired star too? Said Lucy. Well, not quite the same, said Ramandu. It was not quite as a rest that he was set to govern the Duffers. You might call it a punishment. He might have shone for thousands of years more in the southern winter sky if all had gone well. What did he do, sir? Asked Caspian. My son, said Ramandu, it is not for you, a son of Adam, to know what faults a star can commit. But come, we waste time in such talk. Are you yet resolved? Will you sail further east and come again, leaving one to return no more, and so break the enchantment? Or will you sail westward? Surely, sire, said Reepicheep, there is no question about that. It is plainly part of our quest to rescue these three lords from enchantment. I think the same, Reepicheep, replied Caspian, and even if it were not so, it would break my heart not to go as near the world's end as the Dawn Treader will take us. But I am thinking of the crew. They signed on to seek the seven lords, not to reach the rim of the earth. If we sail east from here, and we sail to find the edge, the utter east, and no one knows how far it is. They're brave fellows, but I see signs that some of them are wary of the voyage and long to have our prow pointing to Narnia again. I don't think I should take them further without their knowledge and consent. And then there's the poor Lord Roop. He's a broken man. My son, said the star, it would be no use, even though you wished it, to sail for the world's end with men unwilling or men deceived. That is not how great unenchantments are achieved. They must know where they go and why. But who is this broken man you speak of? Caspian told Ramandu the story of Rupe. I can give him what he most needs, said Ramandu. In this island there is sleep without stint or measure, and sleep in which no faintest footfall of a dream was ever heard. Let him sit beside these other three and drink oblivion till your return. Oh, let's do that, Caspian, said Lucy. I'm sure it's just what he would love. Yeah, exactly. What adult wouldn't like to take a endless sleep for a while? I mean, sounds great. Kind of want to do it forever. I'm not ready for my eternal sleep just now, but man, I mean, just like a solid couple of days, like really restful sleep. Sounds so good. Sounds so nice. At that moment they were interrupted by the sound of many feet and voices. Drinian and the rest of the ship's party were approaching. They halted in surprise when they saw Ramandu and his daughter, and then, because they were obviously great people, every man uncovered his head. Some sailors eyed the empty dishes and flagons on the table with eyes filled with regret. My lord, said the king to Drinian, pray send 2 men back to the Dawn Treader with a message to the Lord Roop. Tell him that the last of his old shipmates are here asleep without dreams, and that he can share it. When this had been done, Caspian told the rest to sit down and laid the whole situation before them. When he had finished, there was a long silence and some whispering until presently the master bowman got to his feet and said, what some of us have been wanting to ask for a long time, Your Majesty, is how we're ever to get home when we do turn, whether we turn here or somewhere else. It's been west and northwest winds all the way, barring an occasional calm. And if that doesn't change, I'd like to know what hopes we have of seeing Narnia again. There's not much chance of supplies lasting while we row all that way. That's landsman's talk, said Drinian. There's always a prevailing west wind in these seas all through the late summer, and it always changes after the new year. We'll have plenty of wind for sailing westward, more than we shall like from all accounts. That's true, master, said an old sailor who was a Galmian by birth. You get some ugly weather rolling up from the east in January and February, and by your leave, sire, if I was in command of this ship, I'd say to winter here and begin the voyage home in March. What did you eat while you were wintering here? Asked Eustace. This table, said Ramandu, will be filled with the king's feast every day at sunset. Now you're talking, said several sailors. Your majesties and gentlemen and ladies all, said Rheinelf, there's just one thing I want to say. There's not one of us chaps as was pressed on this journey. We're volunteers, and there's some here that are looking very hard at that table and thinking about King's Feast, who are talking very loud about adventures on the day we sailed from Cair Paravel. Dr. Bass Ackwards, what's happening? And swearing they wouldn't come home till we'd found the end of the world. And there were some standing on the quay who would have given all they had to come with us. It was thought a finer thing than to have a cabin's boy berth on the Dawn Treader than to wear a knight's belt. I don't know if you get the hang of what I'm saying, but what I mean is that I think chaps who set out like us will look as silly as those duffel puds if we come home and say we got to the beginning of the world's end and hadn't the heart to go further. Some of the sailors cheered at this, but some said that was all very well. This isn't going to be much fun, whispered Edmund to Caspian. What are we to do if half these fellows hang back? Wait, Caspian whispered back. I've still a card to play. Aren't you going to say anything, Reap? Whispered Lucy. No. What? Why should your majesty expect it? Answered Reepicheep in a voice that most people heard. My own plans are made. While I can, I sail east in the Dawn Treader. When she fails me, I paddle east in my coracle. When she sinks, I shall swim east with my 4 paws. And when I can swim no longer, if I have not reached Aslan's country, or shot over the edge of the world in some vast cataract, I shall sink with my nose to the sunrise, and Peepasy will be head of the talking mice in Narnia. Here, here, said a sailor. I'll say the name, barring the bit about the coracle, which wouldn't bear me. He added in a lower voice, I'm not going to be outdone by a mouse. At this point, Caspian jumped to his feet. Friends, he said, I think you have not quite understood our purpose. You talk as if we had come to you with our hat in our hand, begging for shipmates. It isn't like that at all. We and our royal brother and sister and their kinsmen, Sir Reepicheep, the good knight, and the Lord Drinian, have an errand to the world's edge. It is our pleasure to choose from among such of you as are willing those whom we deem worthy of so high an enterprise. We have not said that any can come for the asking. That is why we shall now command the Lord Drinian and Master Rince to consider carefully what men among you are the hardest in battle, the most skilled seamen, the purest of blood, the most loyal to our person, and the cleanest of life and manners, and to give their names to us in a schedule. He paused and went on in a quicker voice. Aslan's mane, he exclaimed. Do you think that the privilege of seeing the last things is to be bought for a song? Why, every man that comes with us shall bequeath the title of Dawn Treader to all his descendants, and when we land at Cair Paravel on the homeward voyage, he shall have either gold or land enough to make him rich all his life. Now, scatter over the island, all of you. In half an hour's time, I shall receive the names that Lord Drinian brings me. There was a rather sheepish silence, and then the crew made their bows and moved away, one in this direction, one in that, but mostly in little knots or bunches, talking. And now for the Lord Roop, said Caspian. But turning to the head of the table, he saw that Roop was already there. He had arrived silent and unnoticed while the discussion was going on, and was seated beside the Lord Argos. The daughter of Ramandu stood beside him as if she had just helped him into his chair. Ramandu stood behind him and laid both his hands on Roop's gray beard. Even in daylight, a faint silver light came from the hands of the star. There was a smile on Roop's haggard face. He held out one of his hands to Lucy and the other to Caspian. For a moment it looked as if he were going to say something. Then his smile brightened as if he were feeling some delicious sensation. A long sigh of contentment came from his lips, and his head fell forward, and he slept. Poor Roop, said Lucy. I am glad. He must have had terrible times. Don't let's even think of it, said Eustace. Meanwhile, Caspian's speech, helped perhaps by some magic of the island, was having just the effect he intended. A good many who had been anxious enough to get out of the voyage felt quite differently about being left out of it. And of course, whenever any one sailor announced that he had made up his mind to ask for permission to sail, the ones who hadn't said this felt that they were getting fewer and more uncomfortable. So that before the half hour was nearly over, several people were positively sucking up to Drinian and Rince. At least that was what they called it at my school, to get a good report. And soon there were only 3 left who didn't want to go, and those 3 were trying very hard to persuade others to stay with them. And very shortly after that, there was only 1 left. and in the end, he began to be afraid of being left behind all on his own and changed his mind. At the end of the half hour, they all came trooping back to Aslan's table and stood at one end while Drinian and Rince went and sat down with Caspian and made their report. And Caspian accepted all the men but that one who had changed his mind at the last moment. His name was Pit and Cream, and he stayed on the island of the Star all the time the others were away looking for the world's end. And he very much wished he had gone with them. He wasn't the sort of man who could enjoy talking to Ramandu and Ramandu's daughter, nor they to him, and it rained a good deal, and though there was a wonderful feast on the table every night, he didn't very much enjoy it. He said it gave him the creeps sitting there alone and in the rain as likely as not, with those 4 lords asleep at the end of the table, and when the others returned he felt so out of things that he deserted on the voyage home at the Lone Islands and went and lived in Calormen. I love 4020. What's happening? Where he told wonderful stories about his adventures at the end of the world until at last he came to believe them himself. So you may say in a sense that he lived happily ever after, but he could never bear mice. That night they all ate and drank together at the great table between the pillars where the feast was magically renewed, and next morning the Dawn Treaders set sail once more just when the great birds had come and gone again. "Lady," said Caspian, "I hope to speak with you again when I have broken the enchantments." And Ramandu's daughter looked at him and smiled. Oh my gosh. Turning to the edge of the flat earth. Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. That whole chapter was giving me just mad flat earth vibes for sure. And the next 2 chapters, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good. The next chapter is called The Wonders of the Last Sea. And the final chapter is called The Very End of the World. Oh, I'm so excited for those. Fortunately, the end of our 2 chapters tonight. So next week on Wednesday will be the final week of the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. This has been such a fun book. I've enjoyed it so much. And I'm really sad that it's coming to an end, but I'm really glad that it's just so flat earthy. Like they're going to the end of the world. I mean, how perfect is that? So yeah, I'm really excited that we're almost done with this book, but also sad. It's always sad when a good book is ending, but I have enjoyed this one so much. Such a good one. Just, yeah, top-notch story. Really awesome. So next week is the end of the world. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Kirk. Exactly. But I think this will be a good end, you know. You don't get new things in the world if old things don't end. So I feel like this will be a good ending. And tomorrow I'm starting a new stream. It's going to be called Conspiracy Chat. And tomorrow my first topic is Admiral Byrd. I am a little bit nervous because I don't normally do presentation type streams, and I really want it to be a good one, but obviously some things just take time to improve them. So I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I was reading about Admiral Byrd the other day and today. That's pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to do Admiral Byrd will be tomorrow. And then I will be doing I want to do one on the Bermuda Triangle, one on Atlantis, and then do some streams on some underground temple, or not underground, underwater, like temples off the coasts in the oceans. It's really interesting. And then eventually I would like to talk about the World's Fairs. So yeah, every Thursday now it will be just like a conspiracy topic, and we'll just be checking it out, talking about it, and maybe having call-ins. And yeah, a little bit nervous about it, but I think that it'll be good. I think I'll get in a good groove, and super down to have guests. So like if I have a topic that someone is like, oh, well, you may not have known this, but I studied that for 20 years, and I can tell you all about that. So definitely down for that. I love having people on my channel. It's so much fun. You all bring so much interesting information, and that's why you're my tribe. So yeah, tomorrow will be my very first in my series of conspiracy chat, and I think it will be probably about the same time as this one, 8 o'clock, maybe 7. Might do 7 just because those streams might go a little longer. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. Sounds good. I love conspiracies. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Like, you're not meant to be here going to the end of the world in our book. You don't love conspiracies. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. Just really want to do more, want to do more in the community. And I'm also, I don't want to say too much about it, but I'm going to start making conspiracy cups. So they will be a tumbler with conspiracy stuff on it, because there's many ways to get people talking to you about flat earth and beyond. And I mean, who doesn't love carrying their drinks in something? So, just carry your conspiracy cup with you, and who knows, someone might just start talking to you about flat earth, and the moon landing or whatever. But I'm going to start doing those. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for that art project. Also, I'm having a meetup this month on December 18th at the Farm Boy in Olympia, Washington at 2 p.m. So if you'd like to meet me, if you'd like to meet Mark Sargent, if you'd like to meet some bears, if you'd like to meet some flat earthers, if you would just like to go to a restaurant who is really cool and not going to hassle you about a mask, you should come to my meetup. So it's going to be a really good time. I've never hosted a meetup that was bad, so it's going to be a good time. And I'm going to have some of my domes you can buy. I will probably have a batch of jam for sale, and I'm hoping that I will have some tumblers for sale as well, some conspiracy cups. So that's what I got going on. Saw a man reading Operation Paperclip in Starbucks a couple weeks ago. Hi, Dan, it's an interesting book. Oh yeah, wasn't that the guy who just disappeared after that? Just poof into the ether, gone. Super cool. My cats have this toy that all 3 of us humans in the house, we've never seen this toy ever. We have no idea where it came from. None of us bought it. We have 0 idea where it came from. And this little flying squirrel, stuffy animal, just appeared in our kitchen yesterday. No idea where it came from. None of us bought it ever. So I have no idea. But, I mean, stranger things have happened, really, with how much this reality is just shifting and changing constantly. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't the Matrix change something to just be like, you know what? Let's throw this flying squirrel in her house, and why not? Let's have fun with it. But yeah, I've been having feelings like really heavily lately that we're just like, I've just been feeling like I'm in a movie, like we're like in the Truman Show, legitimately. Um, and I mean, I've thought that for like a while, but like I've been feeling that a lot lately, like really way stronger feelings, like this is just all a movie, but it's real at the same time. But yeah, this reality just feels so scripted sometimes and so much like a show, and that we're all just kind of playing parts. And I just don't even know. I don't know. I'm feeling it a lot. Yeah, just like is this real? Is this a movie set? I mean, is this all real? It's interesting. I don't even know what I'm saying. The admiral who is famous for his flights is named Bird. They can't help themselves. Yeah, they certainly can't. They certainly can't. Um, feel the same way. Shit's been whack as fuck lately. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like um, I told my friend yesterday, I think, that it feels like, there's some like animals or insects or something, you like kill it, and then like the next time you see one, there's like three or four of them. It's like you kill one fly, and suddenly there's like four more the next day, and you're like, where the hell did you come from? And it's like they just like multiplied out of nowhere. I've been feeling like that with the NPC people, because we know that a lot of people are dying right now. We know that. But why does there never seem to be less people? I mean, there's still always so many people. And I was thinking, uh, the other day, I was in traffic, and I was like, what are all these people doing here? And I was like, what if this is just a loop of a movie, and it's always the same people in the traffic, when honestly it probably is always the same people in the traffic when I'm in the traffic, that because like I'm always driving to get my son, so other people are on schedules too, and like in general people are going to do the same things. You're going to have a schedule, you're going to do the same things. And so like I probably legitimately am driving with exactly the same people every single week, and we're just all like on this loop, and just we're just like part of that set, really. Hey, Doc Michael, what's happening? But yeah, I don't know. I've never really gotten super like into simulation theory. It's making a lot more sense to me lately. It's just, I guess I've thought it a little bit, because I don't know. I know that this is a created realm, but I mean, even games have creators. So, you know, um, I don't know. Yeah, it's been feeling very simulated lately. And yeah, like you would think that we would be seeing more evidence of all these people dying. I mean, just one simple thing like, wouldn't there be less traffic if so many people were just like playing with my kinetic rings here? But if like so many people are dying, where's the evidence of it? Because we know that they are. So it feels like NPCs are just being taken out, and then they just throw in three. Take one out and throw in three. And I don't know. It's all just weird. Um, but yeah, just really tired of like the normal day-to-day nonsense. Just really over it. But I am uh, currently looking for an RV, or if I can build a tiny house, I think I would like to do that. Or if someone has land that they would allow me to build my tiny house on, or my yurt, or park an RV, also looking for that. So those are all things that I'm looking for. Here in Western Washington, especially, because I have to stay in Western Washington for the time being. So that's what I'm looking for. Just putting that out into the ether. Need someone in Western Washington with enough land that I can build my tiny house on, park my RV on it, build a yurt, anything. I mean, tiny house would be awesome because then I can transport my house anywhere I want to go. RV would be great because you can drive your house. So yeah, put that out into the ether that I'm looking for my house. And I do not want it to be a normal house. I do not want 5 bedrooms. I would love to have a couple hundred square feet, honestly. That's what I would like. A couple hundred square feet of my house and 50 acres of land. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Because yeah, this dystopian future thing that we're in, yeah, I felt that really bad today because I had to go to jury duty, which I wasted all day for and didn't get selected for. Great use of my Wednesday off. Anyway, I wouldn't wear a mask, so they gave me a face shield to wear. But just sitting there watching everybody go by, and there was 80 of us, and I was the only one who refused to wear a mask. I was the only one wearing a face shield, which I hate. They're so stupid. But I'm just watching everybody file through in line, and it was it was a total dystopian future. I mean, everybody was faceless. Everybody is like blank-eyed, staring ahead, just go through like they were all just being herded like cattle. And it was very surreal to me, because it's one thing to just like be in the grocery store and it's already weird enough, nobody has a face, grocery store, but to see everybody in a line without a face, like without emotion, anything, to just file through, just keep it rolling, keep it going. But there was a protester at the courthouse. He had to go to the courthouse for some reason. I don't know. But they didn't, he was in the building. They didn't want him in the building because he wasn't wearing a mask. He wasn't going to wear a mask. But he was one of us. No, he was. He was recording the whole thing. And he was talking to the bailiff and the, I don't know, officer, whoever works at the courthouse, whatever, and, telling one guy, like, oh, well, you're not wearing your mask, aren't you being escorted out? And, he's saying, like, what you're doing is against the Constitution. Like, we don't have to wear a mask. And what you're doing is, like, illegal, basically. And yeah, they eventually got him out of the building. But yeah, I'm just like, this guy lives in my town. So, like, I could go do some street activism with him. Seems like he would go to flat earth events and bears meetups, and, like, that guy gets it. So mad props to that guy. So that was kind of cool to see. But yeah, it's a very weird reality that we're living in right now. It's very strange. What did you say? There was something here that I wanted to read. Some of the prepper channels of people in Washington State, farms, homesteads. Yeah, that's what I need to find. That's exactly what I need to find. Want to just go squat on some land somewhere that nobody's using? Post up on the download. That's more common than you think. It's not hard to do that, Doctor. Not hard at all. Preposterous preppers. Yeah. Peter Piper picked a peck of proper pepper channels. Some seeds if you find land. Yes, I'm a collector of seeds. I love seeds. My mom was busting my ass because my son is the only child in the district whose dad refuses to send his kid to school because he refuses to put a mask on him. The one single weirdo. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. My son's dad he wouldn't let me homeschool this year. And yeah, my son has been going to school all year, and I really hate it. I really hate it. I don't know what to do though. It's really hard sharing your child with someone who is not like you, and even more difficult because I was like him when we were together, and so then I awakened and he did not, and it's been fine. It's been really good until this last year. Then things have gotten more interesting because I obviously am on one side of the argument and he is on the other side, and yeah, it's very difficult raising a child with someone like that, but just kind of, I don't know, just kind of hoping and praying for the best at this point. Because, yeah, hoping that I can get my RV or my tiny house built. That's why you split up, or are you split up? Yes, we split up. It was like 2016. Because, yeah, I just realized that we weren't right for each other. And then it was 2017 when my new boyfriend showed me Jeranism video that ruined my normal life, and then I've never left the rabbit hole since then. And so yeah, it's very interesting when you awaken and someone else doesn't, because they really don't see it. They legitimately cannot see what's being done, they just can't imagine having a significant other who's sleep drive me nuts. Oh yeah, exactly. He's very, like, he's still very nice, but I'm so different from him that it's very hard to talk to him because, I mean, he has a Lego lunar lander, and that's just one thing. Uh, he's probably on his third, fourth booster by now. So yeah, we're very, very different in that regard. It's very interesting. But at this point, I've been single for over a year now, and there's zero chance that I can ever date someone normal again. I mean, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. It's not possible. I mean, I can't even imagine dating someone like that now. No. I'll stay single for forever to avoid dating someone who's like, yeah, let's watch the news and go to a sports game and go to the bar and you know, get our free donuts for our job. And no way, zero chance of that working. I would punch that person in the face if I had to date them. There's no possible way. But yeah, I'm really I've been looking at a lot of different options for my living situation. Because yeah, I have some money that I can use on this, and I need to make it happen. But yeah, I don't know if I should find someone with land first, or if I should get my RV first, or if I start building my tiny house first, or I don't know what I'm supposed to do first. But I'm very excited that things are going to be finally going to be moving forward, getting one step closer to my homestead and my chickens, my goats, and my big garden. Oh, I just can't wait to grow so much stuff in the garden. Can't wait. Could not live with the brain dead partner either. Can't turn back after you realize what's going on. Exactly. So it was funny. A few weeks ago on my Facebook memories, a post popped up that I forgot about. So I used to watch the ISS live stream just for fun because I thought it was so cool. And so I had a picture of the stream going on, caption about my love for nonsense space. And then like about a week later, that was when I woke up to Flat Earth, and it was so funny seeing. I was like, wow, I forgot that I used to watch the live stream, the ISS live stream. Didn't think anything about it. And then, how crazily things can change in just a week. I mean, everything changed. Everything. It's crazy. What a journey. People build their tiny houses on big brick trailers. I've seen some of them. They're cool as fuck. Yeah, exactly. And you can get really sweet trailers at like trailer auctions or truck auctions, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at like buses that were at an auction for like $500. I mean, pretty sweet. Like, people have done some awesome stuff converting a bus into their house. And yeah, I mean, the tiny houses that you can build on a trailer is freaking sweet, because it would mostly just be me, but then my son as well. So I would want to have upstairs loft that would be both our bedrooms, and then downstairs, You would have kitchen, living room, bathroom, laundry room, and bam, there you go. You got your whole house on a trailer. Like, super cool. Yeah, you can buy used trailers really cheap. Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, as long as it's functional, doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter at all. Got mine for $2,000. It's totally sweet inside. Oh, is it like an enclosed horse trailer? Because a couple of my friends showed me their enclosed trailer that they converted into it's mostly a bedroom, but they do have a composting toilet in it, and then they have like a little kitchen where they can prepare some stuff, but they don't have a working shower inside, and they don't have like a full like working kitchen, like with a stove. But they have enough stuff in there that yeah, I mean, it's pretty sweet. Like, for just being a little horse trailer, it's pretty cool. So there's a lot that can be done. Found out about the ISS in 2014. My buddy, who's a retired machinist, he'd apparently machined exercise equipment for the ISS. Oh my gosh, stop. That's crazy. I mean, didn't they say that like every single pound matters up there? And like, are they really going to waste the money and time on exercise stuff? Though I guess they say that like, oh, they have to work out because their muscle atrophy, blah blah. Yeah, well, they're not even up there. They're literally not even up there. They're just down here in fucking Texas, like doing whatever. And it's just so funny and ridiculous. Told me all about the ISS and how fast it's going and all that. I'm like, no effing way. It's such a joke. Dude, I know, right? Oh my gosh, when you watch the the live stream and they're like, oh yeah, it's going at 17,000 miles an hour, and you're watching the stream for a freaking hour. The ground below never changes. It's literally always whatever shot you get when you tune in, that's the shot that it's going to be for literally an hour. What do you mean you're not even up there? They're not even up there. There's no one in the ISS. And let's just face it. It's 2021. There's no one in the ISS. Except in the one that's in NASA's buoyancy pool. It's about the only one. How do they do laundry on the ISS? I mean, they probably just incinerate it. Why not? Just send it out the airlock, Why wouldn't you do that? Claim they're in a controlled fall around Earth, which implies that they're only simulating a low-G effect. Allegedly, yeah. It's all just such nonsense. I mean, the fact they think that tin can just be up there in an intense vacuum, no, not happening. Zero footage of them making that technological engineering feat of mankind. Zero footage of them making it. Please. Please. It's such a joke. Rockets going to the Bermuda Triangle. So it's all just poppycock, man. Yep. Horse crap. Space khakis. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. You guys get it. You guys get it. So, yeah, with my conspiracy cups, I thought it would be fun to do. I mean, like, you can do so many different cool ones. So I thought it would be fun to do one with like moon landing pictures on it. We could do one that's the ISS, put stuff like that on the cup. could, I'll be able to do custom ones. So if you want one picture from this and that and this, whatever, just get a bunch of conspiracies on there. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I think people will really like them. So, yeah, I'm excited to make those. But, yeah, if anyone knows anyone selling an RV that's drivable or knows how to build a tiny house for very inexpensive, please let me know. Or if someone has land in Washington and would like me to live on their land, I will grow your garden. I will take care of your chickens. So, yeah, just put that all out into the ether and help that find me. I'm putting that out there, and it's going to come back and find me. So I know y'all will help me with that. You all always give me good energy, and it's going to work this time too. I don't think the ISS is going to help find land to go farming on. No, I don't think they will. They're too concerned with growing lettuce for the first time, for the 20th time. Such a feat. Such a feat. I mean, you don't have to do anything to lettuce. Lettuce is so easy to grow. I mean, you can literally buy a head of romaine lettuce and you cut off like that much of the bottom, and then you pop that in water, and then it'll just start growing more lettuce from that stump. So easy. So easy. You can do it anywhere, but you can't do it in fake space. And space is fake and gay. Sorry. Not sorry. Not sorry at all. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you want to be a NASA fanboy, it's like, okay, enjoy that. Enjoy your balls in space and your rockets that look like giant dicks. I hope you enjoy it. Really hope you enjoy it. I'll stay down here and grow a garden. Like, all the people who want to go to space, can we just send them away? I think we need to segregate the all the people who want the jab. They can go live on the moon. I mean, why not? Why not? If you could go to the moon, that is where I would send all those people. Or send them to Antarctica. Make them find the edge. It's fine. Just I'm okay with segregation. Segregate them away from us. Yeah. Yeah. Figured out you can grow lettuce in a tin can with pea. Melanie K. That's so nice. You're my tribe too. I love the tribe. The community is so great. Really is. You're all so very awesome. And I'm glad that you all love story time. Makes me happy. Even if it is only 8 people, it's 8 quality people. I would rather have 8 quality people than 5,000 awful people. That's it. That's it. That's why they don't like flat earthers, because they know we're not going to board the spaceship to go to Mars when it's time to leave the planet. Man, you know what? I have thought for a while now. I think that the reason they're pushing VR so much over the last couple of years, that's how you're going to go to Mars. It's going to be VR. It would be so easy to. So, okay, if you're gonna go to Mars, you'd have to put on a spacesuit and you're gonna have to wear a helmet. So why not make a VR helmet, and then you put them in a seat that like shakes and make them feel like they're taking off and moving or whatever, and you just put whatever you want on their VR helmet on their screen. I mean, that's how people are gonna go to Mars. it's going to be VR, without a doubt. Yeah, because VR is already so good. It's unbelievably lifelike, and I mean they fake everything else. So that is 100% how they're gonna say that people are going to Mars. Good way to remove large numbers of people all at once, make them into slaves. Yeah, I mean, let's send them away. Let's all those people who want to be slaves. I mean, let's just send them anywhere else. They can have their shit show over there, and we can just crush here on the rest of the land. There's more than enough land everywhere. I mean, literally every adult could probably have easily 50 acres, never see another adult like ever again. Um, but some people want to live in their bee in their beehive, in the honeycombs. Some people love being in the cities. So, I mean, at this point, like, why don't we just build one really big city, and all the city dwellers can just go to that one city? Just there you go. It's your place. It's fine. We'll take care of all the farmland. It's fine. We'll make it work. We don't need you. You're just traffic here. No one needs either. They don't have life energy to run their crap. Yeah, they do. But I mean, is it something like how you have to let the vampire in? So if you know that they're trying to suck your energy from them, well, just don't participate in their reindeer games. If you know that movies are programming you, don't watch the movies. If you know that their food is going to make you fat and gay, don't eat their food. It's so easy and so fun to grow food. It's insanely easy to grow food. So, yeah. It's really creepy how we can see the system gearing up, put us all into the actual matrix. Like, oh, yeah, exactly. That's what they want. So, and like, if you want to be in their system, then, I mean, you pretty much have to just go along with their system. But they don't care if you leave this system, you know? Like, does the government ever bothering, like, the Amish people? Or just random, like, homesteaders who are just out there, like, crushing, going to garden, having animals? Like, they don't really care, Like, if you want to be in that system, then they care and they want to harvest you. But if you're just like, I'm out, I'm done, don't want it, they're just like, all right, it's cool. I mean, they'll fight you a little bit because they don't want you out of the system. But like, once you're just like, nah, I'm out, I'm done. Like, okay, it's fine. We have millions of others who will still eat our slop. So yeah, just buy your own farm. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Flat Earth Town. Hello. Yeah, that's literally exactly what I want. I would love to buy like 50 acres. Just have my good community around me. I'd love it. Even if I just had half an acre just for myself, I would be able to grow so much food. I would be able to grow enough food to feed like my whole neighborhood. So that is exactly what I want. So I want my own farm, and I want out of their shit. Just make the down payment, lease, then other people can help you. Yeah, there's lots of options. I actually harassed them this time over the jabs. I'm just letting them step off. Nice. Harvesting been happening for generations. Yep. Canning is key. Oh yeah. I just started making jam. It is so good. It's so good. I made blackberry jam, then I made mixed berry, and then I made pineapple, mango, peach, strawberry, jalapeno. Oh, and that one is so good. So good. I'm going to be making more jam this weekend. I've got one bear for sure who wants 3 jars. I need to make more for my meetup. And yeah. Here talking in the background, that's my mom and my granny out there in the living room. Yeah. Yep. They're talking, not coming in to scare me. Not this time. Got one and done on that one. Blue cheese and strawberry jam. Not a big blue cheese fan, but I do like cheese. So, what did you say? Just remember there's a group in Wyoming that you can join for $1,000. They got 40 acres. It's in Wyoming, but somebody could do the same in Washington State. That sounds awesome. That sounds super awesome. Yeah, I mean, if I had 50 acres, I would sell off acres to my friends. It's like I'm not trying to be the, queen of my flat earth town, but I do want to have it. And it's like, you can have your acre, build your fence, and yeah, I'm not trying to be a cult. Just want a good community. Just want my friends to be able to have a place to be. But like, you will own your acre, so that's your acre. Do what you want. Jam or jelly, what's the difference? Jelly is the juice of the fruit, and jam has chunks of the fruit. And yeah, my jam is really good. Really good. Really good. So, I was seeing if I had any more random thoughts coming in, but apparently I've used all my thoughts for the day. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. So, I guess I will see you guys tomorrow at 7 for conspiracy chat. We're going to be talking about Admiral Byrd. We're all very excited. It's going to be a great time. We're having a good time. But yeah, see you tomorrow. And then I'll see you next Wednesday for the final 2 chapters of the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. But yes, I will see you all tomorrow for conspiracy chat. So let me say hello and goodbye to everyone. Barbara Zena Bear, Kirk, Sue Finelli, Doc Michael, Melanie K, 888 Industries 640015, Dr. Bass Ackwards, Carrie Skates, FEPE, the Penguin was here. Don't think he's here anymore. But yeah, subscribe to my DLive and my Twitch if you don't mind. They're in the description. If you want to donate to my channel, that's in the description as well. Don't forget to hit the Rogans up on your way out. And I will see y'all tomorrow. So, see y'all on the flat side. Much love.